Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 504 Core podcast. We are episode 30 today. Rolling along here. No Corey, he'll be later in the week. Zack, a lot of recruiting stuff. What's the latest?
Man, we're balling right now with LSU recruiting stuff. Kind of just sticking with football mainly. This weekend's a big one. It's the season finale, for the regular season. You got Texas A&M coming to Baton Rouge. So look, they're going to try to make the most of this weekend as best they can. And there's a lot of Texas A&M recruits that are going to be in town in Baton Rouge that LSU's hosting, trying to flip them. So it kind of starts off with Terry Bussey, the number one athlete in America. He'll be in town this weekend, from what I've heard. And look, that's the big fish. You only have one 5-star in this class, and the standard with LSU is to continue to dominate the recruiting trail. So to get somebody of Terry Bussey's caliber, back on campus again for the third time in 3 months is fantastic. We'll see if they can ultimately flip him, but they're turning up the heat, man. It's full steam ahead to try to get Bussey to flip. Other than that, man, you're gonna have George McIntyre, the number 2 quarterback in the 2025 class in town as well. I was told as well. So it's about to be a really busy recruiting weekend. Um, Other than that, they just came out with some new rankings and stuff. LSU target Harlem Berry is a top 10 prospect in the 2025 class now, 5-star status. A lot of things are changing on the recruiting trail, but no commitments, no flips, no nothing just yet. But as early signing day nears, man, what are we like 3 weeks out from it, like a month away until the early signing period starts for football. So we got some crazy shit that's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. I'm excited to see what unfolds.
You think they're going to flip him, BC?
I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously after Jimbo fell or kind of got fired, all things are kind of falling through with that program. They're losing a couple of commitments, a couple of targets. People are trending elsewhere. So look, he's been in town. He came in for his official visit in September. He came back unofficially in October, and now he's coming back again on his own dime in November. So that's three visits all in all in 3 months. So to get him on campus this many times, there's obviously mutual interest between both parties. I wouldn't be surprised ultimately if he flipped, but it's going to take some time, and this weekend will really tell the tale. But look, that's a freakish athlete. LSU's recruiting him in a different way than a lot of other players or a lot of other programs rather, mainly because for the most part they're looking at him as a cornerback, and LSU's looking at him as a cornerback, a safety, come play offense if he needs to, a wide receiver, return kicks. Like they're looking at him as a Swiss Army knife, and that's something that's seriously entertaining his camp in a big way. So right now he's committed to Texas A&M and he's loyal to his commitment, quote unquote. But to get him back on campus and try to flip him would be significant. I would not be surprised if at the end of the day he ended up suiting up for LSU.
Do you know what position he wants to play? Has he made that clear at all? Do you
I
know?
think LSU giving him the opportunity to play both sides of the ball and special teams is something that intrigues him significantly. When he came in on his official visit, I heard that he met with wide receivers coach Cortez Hankton. He met with all the DB coaches. He met with the special teams coordinator and stuff. So I mean, that's their pitch, is that they're willing to put him wherever he wants to go, and they feel like he can affect the game in numerous ways. I feel like all in all, he'll be a defensive back. That's where he's going to play mainly, wherever he goes to college, whether it's LSU, A&M, whatever. But that's LSU's pitch, is that they're willing to place him wherever he wants to be, and if he can impact the game in various ways, then so be it.
Doesn't Texas A&M have another Louisiana kid committed to them?
Yeah,
D line.
so Texas A&M has Gabriel Relaford. He's a 4-star defensive lineman, top
Yeah.
5 player in Louisiana, and he's a guy who's also going to be in town this weekend on a visit. He's visited unofficially like 3-4 times this year, man. Like he's been in town so many damn times, and you need defensive linemen. You need to keep stacking them for the long haul, because that's a position of weakness right now. It's a position of need. So for Brian Kelly and this recruiting staff to get Relaford back on campus once again against A&M in Baton Rouge is so significant, just because it's a position of need. And look, I think that's a guy who could very well flip to LSU. I would not be surprised if at the end of the day, he signs with LSU during the early signing period, because he's just such a freaking talent. But look, man, you could see LSU flip 4 A&M commitments if all goes correctly. You already got Weston Davis, 5-star offensive lineman. Drelon Miller, somebody who's really on their radar. He might end up committing back to A&M, but we'll see. And then you got Terry Bussey, and then you got Gabriel Relaford. So 4 guys trending, both ways, but LSU's, putting their foot on the gas for all of them.
You think McKinley has any chance of switching or no? He's
No, I think
locked in.
McKinley's pretty locked in with them right now. I wouldn't see him reopening his recruitment and doing anything of that nature.
I wonder why he committed A&M. He just
We were talking about that the other day. Like it's just like, if you're a Louisiana kid, there's no in between. It's either you want to suit up and play for LSU, or you just want to say like F it and go play somewhere else. And I think McKinley was one of those guys who kind of just said F it, I want to go somewhere else, because there were so many other potential candidates like Ohio State, Oklahoma, UT, and then obviously A&M. all these other programs. And LSU was in his year for a while, but at the end of the day, man, like I'm not going to discredit McKinley at all. I think he's a good player, but he's kind of a tweener in my opinion. And sure, he's a high 4-star, 5-star talent, but I think in the end of the day, if you can get Relaford, on campus, then I think you're winning.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you could, like you said, 4 kids, I mean, that's pretty insane.
It's free reign, man. Once Fisher was out of the picture, you had not just LSU but several programs in the ears of all these commitments because they're willing to chat. They're willing to see what other programs can offer since A&M's kind of like up in the air right now with everything they're doing from a coaching perspective, and obviously they're not winning games either. So a lot of kids aren't patient anymore. A lot of kids don't want to wait around. So we'll see.
You said Miller might go back. Is that what you're
Yeah,
hearing?
so John Miller's a 4-star wide receiver out of Texas, and he was committed to A&M for a couple months. I believe he committed to them over the summer, and basically, he went on an official visit to LSU like last month, and fresh off of that visit, he decommitted that next Monday, Tuesday, and a lot of signs pointed in LSU's direction. It was kind of the thing where, look, if he decommits then and he drags things out, it could be a worry for LSU. A lot of people believe that Miller would end up committing to LSU fresh off of opening his recruitment again. And he didn't. He's taken visits elsewhere. USC's in his ear, Colorado's in his ear, and then ultimately Texas A&M still trying to mend the fence and try to get him back in that 2024 class. But LSU's picking up some steam, and I think at the end of the day you're gonna have an A&M LSU battle for him. And look, he's gonna commit sooner rather than later, so we'll see the verdict on that pretty soon.
Yeah, no, scary times. And then the year after that, 2025, that's when things are getting really juicy. Bryce Underwood, there's all kind of predictions coming out, crystal balls today, actually. Any latest with that, or is it just kind of what's
Look,
going
that
on?
Bryce Underwood thing is so significant to the point where like the crystal balls are one thing, but just hearing from people within the program about it is super exciting as well. You have 4 crystal balls now placed for LSU. They're 4 for 4. They're batting 1,000. You got 2 guys with 24/7. You have 2 guys with on 3. All of them are predicting an LSU commitment come January 6th, which is that commitment date. He's honoring his great grandmother. So you're 4 for 4. Everybody's predicting him to get LSU. Michigan, they got a quarterback last week, Carter Smith, I believe is his name, a 2025 guy, and he committed to them, and that might have turned off Underwood. It might not have. Obviously, he's not scared of the smoke. But look, for LSU to be trending for somebody of Bryce Underwood's caliber is significant. You already have a 5-star wide receiver. Harlem Berry, 5-star running back, commits on December 18th, and all signs are pointing LSU's way. So you could have a pretty significant skill position haul if you can get Underwood on deck, get Harlem Berry as well. So it's looking good. I feel really good about the chances of Berry ending up in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. I mean, if you could land all 3 of those, that'd be significant. I'm honestly at this point, I'm worried about Den Brock staying for LSU.
We talked about that the other day. Me and a couple of guys in the press box. We were talking about look, do you think if he gets offered a head coaching gig elsewhere, he takes it? And it was a mixed bag. Some people were like, look, he's like 60 years old. At the end of the day, did he pass his window to go on and take on that challenge? And a lot of people said no. A lot of people said yes. But this is his 3rd stop with Brian Kelly. Their relationship is so close. They've done a lot of things together over their time. It's 2nd or 3rd stop. And look, they've had success wherever they've been. And they're back in Baton Rouge, obviously doing some crazy things with the number 1 offense in America. I'm not worried about him leaving per se. Obviously, whatever opportunity, it would have to be significant. But I feel pretty comfortable with him right now. If I'm worried about somebody, it might be quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan. We'll see what happens there. But that offensive staff is so fucking good right now, man. Like I can't complain.
Doesn't Joe Sloan have a pretty good relationship with Underwood? Like, hasn't he flown out and seen
Yeah, I
him a
mean,
bunch of times? Yeah.
he's an elite level coach and he's an elite level recruiter. He locks down, this region. That's this Louisiana, Texas-ish region is his recruiting realm, and he's dominating it. And then obviously you go up north and you develop a relationship with somebody like Bryce Underwood. And that's what's making this such an interesting thing. Does Joe Sloan leave if he's given an offensive coordinator position? I doubt it. He's making a significant chunk of change here in Baton Rouge, and obviously the future's bright down here. And he's kicking ass in that 2025 class. George McIntyre, the number 2 quarterback in America. Bryce Underwood, number 1. He's got options, and McIntyre's going to be back on campus this weekend. Heard it's his final visit before he commits. So, look, you want to keep Joe Sloan in your back pocket as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, and all these guys could always leverage themselves into a bigger payday as well. I'm sure they're paid well, but yeah, Den Brock, like you said, he's an older man. Collect a couple $1 million a year or $1 million a year, and just ride it out with Kelly. I mean, sounds pretty good to me. He'd be the king of BR. So
Literally.
yeah, I mean, he's got it going on. They got it going on. Defensive side of the ball is a whole nother story. But yeah, one thing I did see is like Whit Weeks. Why hasn't he played? Did you see anything regarding that?
Yeah, so Kelly talked about that yesterday during the Monday press conference, kind of just saying how he some freak accident happened where he got a gash on his foot and he had stitches in his foot all last week. He ultimately got him taken out on Sunday and he was available to play, Kelly said. Kelly said it was kind of a coach's decision to not have him play. Didn't want to risk having a stitch pop out of his foot, any of those type of deals. But look, at the end of the day, he hasn't played since Ole Miss, and that's an alarming thing in my opinion when you have somebody of his caliber who's only going to get better over time playing in the SEC. I think Omar Speights is a great player, and obviously Kelly's a guy who honors veterans, or I guess senior leadership, whatever you want to call it. And to not be playing Weeks and playing Omar Speights above him is interesting, but not really giving him any type of snaps in general is what really throws me off because Weeks is obviously a baller. You saw it. We've talked about it on numerous occasions, and for him to not be getting any snaps is wild to me. But Coach Kelly said yesterday he had stitches in his foot and he didn't want to risk any injury, and he'll be available this weekend. And he said they'll need him to play, so we'll see.
Is he past his red shirt
Oh yeah,
already?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's not redshirting.
Yeah, I think the red shirt stuff's overrated. I mean, I see the point in a lot of it with some guys, but like at LSU, like if you have talent and you know these guys are going straight to the NFL if you have talent. So
And there's so many ways to get like extra years of eligibility anyway. Like fuck it, just play them.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like who was it? Some players got like a 7th year of eligibility. Like there's so
Yeah, there's
many
like an Oregon tight end who transferred somewhere, got like 8 or 9 years of eligibility. It makes no sense. 2 medical red shirts, a COVID year, a grad year. It's unbelievable.
literally Van Wilder playing football.
Yeah, it makes no
Yeah,
sense.
it's insane. The workaround, but yeah, I mean, he's going to be an NFL. He's going to be a draft pick. I mean, he's already shown it his freshman year. So,
The defense has got some work to do, man. I'm really intrigued to see what goes down this weekend. Obviously, A&M's kind of a look. They shocked us last year and took down LSU, and it hurt. It put a damper in this team's morale. But this year things are different. Obviously, Jimbo's out of the picture, but the defensive line's talented over in College Station. We'll see what happens. But what's kind of your take? I've been talking a little bit too much. What's your take on this weekend? You know, obviously Jayden Daniels talking about just what he just did last weekend. I know it's an inferior opponent in Georgia State, but kind of just give me your thoughts on Jayden Daniels, the Heisman race, and then this upcoming week in the season finale.
bro, I mean, Daniels has to be the favorite just by looking at everything. I mean, his stats are so much better. The strength of schedule is so much better. You know, there's starting to be more momentum. We talked about last week, the disconnect between the national media and like Vegas and just everything else. Like a lot, you'll see a lot of people say like Daniels is the favorite, and then you see other people like, oh, Bo Nix, blah 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 blah. But I think it's starting to catch up finally. Georgia State, yeah, it's Georgia State, but he still had 8 touchdowns regardless. So. I'm excited to see, you know, what they're going to do this weekend. I think they're going to kick the shit out of A&M. I really do. I think they're really going to pile it on just to really cement that Heisman for Jayden. So I was kind of thinking too, like I was watching the game with my dad. I was just like, dude, if you're a recruit, if you're Bryce Underwood and you see what they're doing with Jayden Daniels, trying to get him to 9 touchdowns or 8 touchdowns, whatever, like how much they were trying to get it, like you would have, like you watch that, like you would appreciate that as a recruit or just a player in general. So. I think they're going to do something similar to A&M. I think they're going to pile it on just to really put the exclamation point on it. And yeah, I'll be really surprised if LSU doesn't win big this weekend. I saw the spread was 9.5, and then it was 10.5, and then now it's like 11 or 11.5. So people are thinking the same things. Yeah, I mean they have to finish strong. And then what's LSU? Are they 9 wins right now? What are they at?
Yeah, they're going for their 10th win right
Yeah,
now.
and then Kelly has to have that 10th win just to say he has back-to-back 10-win seasons. I know that's not the standard for LSU, but it's still something good to say, especially considering the state of affairs LSU was in when Kelly took over because Orgeron left a mess of a roster. He didn't really reload like a lot of people thought he would. So
So let me clarify that they're 8-3. They're looking to get their 9th win now, and then the 10th.
okay, well then the bowl win, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he'll get it, but yeah, A&M, you know, is down. If I were them, I would kind of pile it on. Just like I said, put an exclamation point on it. Are you looking for anything specific this weekend?
Not specifically, but I kind of want to hit on what you said before, talking about how important it is for recruits to be looking at what Jayden Daniels and his offense are doing. I think that's why it was such a big deal for this, staff to get Bryce Underwood back on campus for that Auburn game the other week, just because to see it in person it is so important. And just kind of sticking on Jayden Daniels, man, the things that he's doing are so significant. It makes sense why he's the favorite at this point. He's the front runner. He's minus 125 on all three major sports books, that being DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple other sports books as well. But those are the three that I'm kind of looking at. He's minus 125. He's the favorite. You got Bo Nix sitting at around plus 150 ish, and the numbers that he's doing against the number one strength of schedule is so impressive. And from a dynamic quarterback perspective, he's doing it with his arms, his legs. He's smart. He has the whole locker room like kind of rallying around him. It's been really impressive. And if he doesn't take home that Heisman Trophy, I'll be shocked. I think it's for good reason. He's putting together a historic season that's getting swept under the rug by some just because there's 3 losses. And look, man, those 3 losses aren't anything to shy away from. You're top 5 Florida State team. Ole Miss is a top 10 opponent. Alabama top 10 opponent. Like those 3 losses are on the road against some pretty goddamn good teams. And he can't really help it that his defense is allowing so many points. But at the end of the day, man, I think he takes home that Heisman Trophy. And the season finale this weekend is something that's going to have a lot of people's attention. Texas A&M's defense is good. Their front seven is super talented. The defensive line is super talented. So if he can come out and dominate like everybody thinks he can, it's going to be a show, and I think it'll further solidify his chances of winning the Heisman. And last thing, really, you asked something that I'm excited to look at. I want to see Malik Neighbors get 144 yards. I want to see him break the receiving yards all-time record in LSU. Josh Reed's sitting up top with 3,001 yards, and Malik Neighbors has a chance to get 3,002 this weekend and put himself, as GOAT status as one of the best receivers of all time in LSU history. So that's something that I'm looking forward to, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got it.
Yeah, that was the thing I forgot about. That I think they'll force feed him the ball as well. Yeah, he's been pretty underappreciated, honestly. I mean, people talk about Chase and Jefferson and Odell and Jarvis and all these other guys, but Neighbors are getting recognition this year, but I know all the talk is Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean,
I would be
rightfully so.
shocked if not shocked per se, but I firmly believe that Malik Neighbors is your Biletnikoff winner. He's the best receiver in college football, and I think he has the chance to win it, and again put another statement on LSU being wide receiver U.
Yeah, no, if he has a massive weekend this weekend, which I think he will, I think they will target him a lot. I think the focal point of the game plan will be involved with him. Yeah, he could put a stamp on winning that Biletnikoff. But yeah, what they got Brian Thomas Jr. as a finalist. I mean, he's not going to win it, but it's still really amazing that he's a finalist as well. So pretty impressive if you're a recruit like looking at this with LSU. Like the momentum is there. So yeah, Neighbors, hopefully he can get it. I mean, LSU's not going to win a championship, but these are phenomenal consolation prizes just to have recruiting wise and just as school.
I think that's super well said too. Once you lost that third game, it was kind of like, look, your season. You can look at it as okay, like we still have stuff to play for, but once you got that third loss, there wasn't really much to play for. And I think your championships at this point is getting Malik Neighbors the Biletnikoff, getting Jayden Daniels the Heisman, and then continuing to carry that momentum into the end of the season and then into next season and whatnot. But I think it's so important to get somebody like Malik Neighbors an award like that. And obviously, he's a first round pick. Brian Thomas has solidified himself as a top 2 round pick as well. I'd be shocked if he fell to the 3rd round. I firmly believe he's a first round draft pick. But look, the way you're saying, like these are good consolation prizes. But continue. I cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, LSU fans will get down, not having a championship. But yeah, no, if you can just add these little things, it's good for recruiting, good for the school, it always cements your legacy. So but this would be the 3rd LSU Heisman Trophy winner. So and then
second in the last 5 years.
Yeah, second in the last 5 years. So really, really impressive. Just keep the ball rolling. I mean, just the freaking graveyard of QBs LSU's had the past 20 or 30 years. It's been really, really bad. Hasn't really been good. So no, it's a good time to be an LSU fan in general. Baseball's on the rise. Obviously, just won a championship. Basketball, women's is a little bit in turmoil, but still they got a championship. Nothing to complain about. Everything else. Men's basketball's slowly but surely getting better. Yeah, it's just really good. I don't know. That does it about me for football. Is there anything else you want to talk about LSU wise, like women's or?
No, I mean, like obviously, like the talk of the town's the Angel Reese stuff, and I think everybody who's kind of in the loop with sports and kind of in the know with LSU is this whole Angel Reese saga. And I'm not going to harp on it too much because you and I spoke on it a couple minutes ago before we got on here. But look, that whole thing is so interesting to me, just solely because obviously she's missed back-to-back games with no specified reason. She was benched in the Kent State game in the second half, and she hasn't touched the floor since. She missed the Southeastern game on Friday. She missed the Texas Southern game last night, being Monday, November 20th. So, look, I mean, it's an interesting saga that's unfolding with Angel Reese, and I'm really intrigued to see what comes to light here. I was telling Mike before the show started, wouldn't be surprised if she didn't travel to the Cayman Islands for that Thanksgiving tournament that they're going to do. And look, I would expect to see her back against Virginia Tech on November 30th. But at the end of the day, man, it's just so up in the air because Kim Mulkey and the program are keeping it so close to the vest. They're not really releasing much information. And to be honest, kudos to them because nobody is really 100% certain about what's going on. And if they tell you they know what's going on, they're lying. Because they've just kept it so close and not much has been put out there. So the Angel Reese stuff is super interesting, and more stuff will come to light sooner rather than later. But I'm trying to stay in the know as much as I can, and obviously whatever I hear, Mike and I can hop on here and say a couple different things about it. But that women's basketball team is fantastic. Obviously, there's some turmoil there right now, but fantastic roster construction by Kim Mulkey, and they're going to be just fine. Men's basketball's on the rise too, but yeah, that's all I got to say about LSU stuff. We hit on football, men's, women's basketball. Everything's kind of booming right now in the athletic department for LSU.
Yeah, no, they're doing good. All right, you want to talk about Pels?
Let's do it. What you got? This is your strong suit. This is where my monologues are over. This is where you got to kick
They're finally starting to get healthy. I saw tweets like whenever CJ sees Zion and BI click, and then it's like a guy getting resuscitated because I saw
literally.
CJ is getting healthy again, and Larry Nance getting healthy. They practiced today, apparently full practice, and then Alvarado's coming back. So they're just adding one guy at a time. I kind of said like a week ago, as long as they limp along and just get wins, just to stay competitive, I think they'll be fine. Like it's just the same shit every year. Just get healthy. So Trey Murphy's on the horizon. I don't know how far away he is. Probably like a week or two away, 2 weeks. So, yeah. I mean, I saw some videos of him dunking. I mean, the shot will always be there. Size will always be there. Athleticism will always be there. So, yeah, no, it's fun times being a Pelicans fan. Just I wish consistency was there a little more, but I mean, they kicked the shit out the Kings last night. That was a fun watch. Dyson seems to be hitting a stride a little bit. He can't offensively, he's not the best, but his playmaking's there, and defensively, he's still really, really good. Hawkins seems to be getting better. Hawkins' passing is like
Underrated.
Underrated like crazy. So, it's just fun times. Zion, slowly getting back to what Zion's supposed to be. Yeah, is there anything you've seen from them that's like stood out to you? Or
Look, like I know like Jonas gets like hell from the fan base defensively. Like I know that everybody wants to crucify him and say he's basically like a traffic cone, just like sitting there. But it hasn't like he's going up against some pretty tough competition lately, and I haven't been pissed off about it per se. I want to say he's holding his own to a certain degree. But look, all in all, I don't want to sit back and sit here and crucify Jonas because I think he's playing some decent ball. But defensively, he's been relatively, I guess, a positive for me. I've been seeing a lot. Obviously, Herb Jones is doing his thing, and everybody else is doing what they have to do. But Jonas, to me, is trying to hold it down and trying to take significant improvement in that area. It's a work in progress for him, but kind of moving on to everybody else, man. I love what Jordan Hawkins does. Zion's getting back into a groove, and look, I think this organization has so much upside, and you bring CJ back into the fold as well. The sky's the limit. Just remain healthy, and like you said, we're getting to that point, but it's a work in progress. And once this team's fully healthy and moving on, the sky's the limit. I'm excited.
it's just like so frustrating. Like they get momentum, and then like next thing I get the report, Matt Ryan calf strain out 10 to 14
You just
days.
get that notification that says like, oh, they'll be evaluated in 10 to 14 games.
Yeah.
Just fill in the blank with whoever player it's going to be.
Yeah, it's just like a constant rotation. I don't know. It just seems like anytime this team's got momentum, it's just like immediately it's like, nope, someone's got to go out. But yeah, I mean, they're deep. When they're healthy, they might be like the deepest team in the league, and that's saying something.
At least in like the Western Conference, dude. Like I feel like they're just kicking ass. Like they have the chance to kick ass because the talent level is just so high from 1 to like 8.
Yeah. No, I mean, It's impressive. Like when they are healthy, they are one of the deepest teams. I mean, I'd rank them top 5 at the very least. So,
Agreed.
and then defensively with Jonas, I think unless you're like an elite defender, like I
Yeah.
think defense in the NBA is kind of overrated. Like you're either like really shit. Defense in the NBA is literally effort. So like a
There's
lot of
no in
offense.
between. Either you're good as shit or you're terrible.
Yeah, like guys, offensive players, like they'd have to exert so much energy on the offensive end that they don't even try on defense. So,
Agreed.
it's a lot of bench guys like Herb Jones, defensive specialist. But yeah, I know Jonas is just as long as he rebounds and as long as he rebounds and keeps putting up what he does offensively. But yeah, they need a backup 5 that can swat some shots and come
Desperately.
in. I don't really know who that guy is. I don't think Cody Zeller is the answer, even though he had a good game last night. But um, yeah, they need somebody. They need somebody with size that can play defense, and I don't know what that is because Larry Nance is going to. I don't think he's a long term answer at the 5, small ball 5. So um, I don't know, but it's fun to watch what they're doing. So as long as
They're
they
getting
continue to
there.
do better,
Slowly
yeah,
but surely progressing.
yeah. It's just stay healthy as always. But yeah, is there anything else Pelicans wise you want to talk about?
No, I mean I feel like we hit on defensively. They're hitting their somewhat hitting their stride. You got guys like Hawkins and other people entering the rotation now who are making a significant impact. You bring back Alvarado, CJ eventually. So this organization has a chance to, like I said a millionth time, like a broken record, hit their stride sooner rather than later.
Do you still know what the NBA in season tournament is?
I don't think anybody knows what the NBA in-season tournament is, dude. Like that is the most confused. Like the players don't even know. Like you've had them openly say like they have no idea what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, I think the NBA tries a little too hard.
There's just no incentive. Like, look, 500K to the normal civilian is a lot of money, but to them, it's almost like not chump change per se, but to play for 500K just doesn't make much sense to me. Like, I think you have to find a better incentive. Like Tyrese Halliburton said, like if you win the in-season tournament, you get an automatic bid to the playoffs or something. Like you have to have some type of long-term play here when it comes to the in-season tournament because 500K isn't going to move the needle for a lot of these guys technically.
Yeah, or like a draft pick or
Yeah, hell yeah.
something. That would be a good incentive. Like, well, I don't know if the players would care as much, but like you get the first pick of the second round. Like,
Yeah, give him something, dude. Like just like 500K to me, just like I said, doesn't move the needle. I think you need something more significant from an incentive perspective.
yeah, playoff implications. That'd be interesting. Yeah, something. The NBA just tries too hard. People want to talk about like, oh, the NBA, like they got to do this and this. It's like, to me, it's really simple. Just eliminate back to backs and extend the season by 2 weeks. Like, I don't think that's really that difficult. I mean, there's nothing going on in the summer anyway, so just
Yeah, true. Nobody's watching baseball, respectfully.
yeah. I mean, that's what I would do if I was a GM. Just extend the week, just extend it 2 weeks, and you can eliminate most of the back to backs, if not all the back to backs. So, um, yeah, I don't know. The NBA, they're going to get their TV rights soon, and the money's going to keep coming in. But yeah, no one knows what the the in season tournament is. I don't even know if the Pelicans are still rolling on with it. That's another thing. Like, weren't the in season games like a week ago, and now they're not, and then other teams are playing it, so it's not even
It
like
makes no, it legit makes no sense to me. Like the only thing that I know about the in-season tournament is that the courts are different. That's it.
yeah.
Like I know
Yeah.
nothing. I know nothing about the rules, the schedule, anything other than the courts look almost like shit. But that's a personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I don't know. The NBA will figure it out. But all right, any bets of the week you see? Anything
Dude,
in
I haven't had the
season?
chance to look at the books very much. I do you have any? If you've been checking them out, let
So
me know.
I'm gonna do something a little weird. I was gonna do a 3-team money line parlay this weekend. I was gonna do Oregon just to hedge my bet or just to hedge my emotions. So Oregon money line, LSU money line, and Bama money line. Bama's playing Auburn, Oregon's playing Oregon State, and then obviously LSU's playing Texas A&M. So I was getting that at -150. Not bad odds. Yeah, I like that a lot. It's rivalry weekend for everything. So, um, yeah, that's my favorite thing. There's really no lines that stand out to me. Um,
Yeah, there's nothing I like at all. Maybe North Carolina -3 might be like my one bet that I like relatively like. They play
who
North
they
Carolina State this weekend. I think if I was to do anything, I'd probably say Drake May, North Carolina -3. Like I said, I haven't even really gotten to check the book, and it's so early in the week. Like we're doing this by the way on Tuesday, November 21st. So it's a little too early in the week for me to necessarily make a best bet. But if I were to pick one, I'd probably like North Carolina -3 over NC State.
Then they just lost to Clemson, didn't they? Yeah, so they'll come out pissed off. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, as long as Drake May plays, I would assume he's playing.
Exactly. So that is my best bet. Hopefully it hits. We've been doing okay on these.
When do the playoff rankings come out? Is it tonight?
Tonight.
Tonight? Yeah.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll give a better, idea of what we're working with.
If Florida State wins out, do you give them the CFP nod at number 4?
It's a unique situation. I was talking about it with our Florida State site last night. And they were just saying, like, look, like without Jordan Travis, you're going to see a lot of these voters do bias towards other programs because obviously Florida State is not the same team without Jordan Travis. And speaking of Jordan Travis, man, that injury was one of the most disgusting injuries I've seen in a while. Good God, like prayers up to him because he played such a pivotal role in bringing back that program. Like I was looking at this thing showing like the record projection of his first year to his last year. He's damn near the leader in every single category, like at the quarterback position. So kudos to Jordan Travis for sticking it out and being such a dog for the Seminoles. But that injury was tragic. And to answer your question, no, I mean, I think if they win out, it's going to be almost tough to keep them in the college football playoff at the top 4 slot, just because they're a different team. It's a different identity without Jordan Travis. But it's almost not fair to them to do that. I have such a mixed bag on that. But I'll probably have a better opinion when I come next Tuesday.
So who would jump? So Washington would jump them, right?
Probably. It's tough though because like Washington's going to end up playing the Pac-12 championship game against Oregon, and a lot of things can change between now and those final projections.
Yeah, that is definitely true. So who would Florida State play? Would they play North Carolina or Clemson? Who's the other ACC?
It's not Clemson. Might be Duke.
Duke? Oh yeah. Okay. I always forget about Duke. Duke is sneaky. Is Duke ranked right now? They gotta be.
I think so.
I don't see them playing this week.
Maybe it's Louisville.
Oh, Louisville. Yeah, I don't know if that's
it is
on the
Louisville.
outside. Yeah, Louisville's really, really good. Yeah, that if they beat Louisville in the ACC championship game, then I would almost say you got to do it.
You have to. That's a lock at that point. That's a top 10 team. Like you have to get that done.
No, I agree. It just sucks. I mean, he lit up LSU, and he seems like a good guy, but
he torched us, bro. And he was so cool in the post-game press conference. Like he's such a loyal guy, and he seemed like a really cool guy to talk to. Like obviously, we didn't get any one-on-ones, but in that short interview that we had with him after the game back in September, it was cool to talk to him and stuff. So, prayers out to Jordan Travis. Tough situation, but if they win out and they win that ACC championship game, you almost have to put him in.
He was going to get drafted, right? I mean,
yeah, he was going to get drafted. I don't know where necessarily. Probably like a day 2 pick. Just because this quarterback class is relatively deep to a certain degree. We'll see who stays and who doesn't. But Jordan Travis, he was going to be on an NFL roster next year.
But he can't come back though, right?
He's done.
Damn. I wonder where he's going to get drafted now. Because some team's going to bite. I would assume.
We'll see. I mean, like if there's no ligament damage and it's strictly a break, come like combine time and pro day time, he could be back. Like it is November still. Like we could see potentially because that stuff doesn't unfold until like March-ish. It's a long shot, but. We'll see. I need to look up what the official diagnosis was for him.
Bro, if he's sitting there in like the 5th or 6th round and the Saints are and he's on the board for the Saints, and we haven't taken a QB, you gotta
take a flyer. Like just like do it. Like there's nothing to lose. Like either he hits or like it is what it is.
I'm under the camp of like just take a flyer on like a 3rd or 4th round pick every year till one hits because eventually one will hit, and when it does, those guys are instantly worth like 100 times more than what you gave up for. But I mean, GMs these days don't want to like take risks like that. They're honestly
it's so lame.
A lot of GMs are in like conservation modes for their jobs. So if I was a GM, I'd be so aggressive, but what do I know? So I mean, just that's what I would do. Do you think James is going to play this weekend? We'll end it off with the little Saints.
I really don't know. I really don't know, man. We'll see. I'm so indifferent. I literally have no opinion on it. We'll see is all I'll say. What you think? And then I got to go do this radio call at 3:05.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know what the Saints. I don't know if I want them to win. I don't know if I want them to lose. I have money on them hitting nine wins. But then again, I want them to. Dude, I
get a better draft pick and tank.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's so hard to hit QB draft picks. It seems like you only hit on like 30% of them. So I'm indifferent.
Hypothetically, if Jayden Daniels is there, do you take him? Like
Dude,
in the
yeah,
first round?
Jayden Daniels will be a top 5 pick. I was even talking about that, but I'm like, what is Jayden Daniels missing? Like, what do
We
teams
talked
look
about this
for?
the other day, like last week's podcast. You said it yourself. Like, I wish I could pull up the clip. It was like they're those guys who are like fringe first rounders, early second rounders, who ultimately like what's the term I'm looking for here? Like you're basically saying how at the end of
Risers.
the day, like this is a guy who once he does testing and everything, will just move into the top 10 conversation off rip.
Yeah, I mean, what's he gonna run? Like a 4.3, 4.4? I mean, the dude's
Probably
fast as
4-4.
shit. He's tall. Like you could still add another dude. If you type in Jayden Daniels on Google, you'll see like pictures of him at ASU, and then you'll see pictures of him now, and he's like 30 pounds heavier, 40 pounds
I
heavier.
told you guys when we talked to Jayden Daniels a couple weeks ago, his parents had to sign a waiver for him to play like varsity football or something like that because he was so skinny. Like he wasn't even allowed to play, but he had to get like a waiver signed or something, is what he said. I have to go fact check that. But he was so damn skinny in high school, his first 2 years at Arizona State. He came to LSU ultimately and just put on an insane amount of weight in the strength and conditioning program. You put him in an NFL regimen, dude, like you put like 15, 20 more pounds on him, dude, he's gonna look like a fucking tank.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he could still add weight. It might take a little bit off his speed, but that's fine. He's still elusive, is all like get out. So no, he's got it all. I don't see he's gonna be he's gonna be a top 5 pick. I'm predicting that right now. It's the same shit every year. Oh, this guy's a 3rd rounder. Oh, he's a 2nd rounder. Oh, the teams are
It's
talking
almost
about the
hard.
first round. It's
It's
like
hard for me to put him in that top 5 conversation just because Caleb Williams and Drake May are going to be in there. And I don't know if you have 3 quarterbacks going in the top 5, but top 10, like I'm willing to
right.
almost say that, like a lock first rounder, top 10.
How many good okay, we did this before the year. Like how many good QBs are there in the league? And it's like you go through it and you like once you start getting to like 7, 8, 9,
It's
10,
just
it's
drop
like
off.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
like
I agree.
there's so many teams are desperate need a QB. Like that he's gonna go top 5. Someone will trade up, or someone is sitting there 5 will take him. Like
I
the
can't wait
Bears,
till they do like draft positions and stuff, and you can go put some money on that top 5. And ultimately, I might do it too. We'll see.
yeah, you might be able to do it now. I'm sure sports books will have it open. But yeah, no, I definitely would, but I would not be surprised. But all right, you got to go. Yeah, if everyone could like and subscribe, we really appreciate it. And thanks for tuning in. Anything else you want to say?
No, we got a busy weekend coming up with sports, so next week we'll be back and we'll have a lot to talk about.
Stay safe during the holidays, and we'll see you soon.